Professor Vector adjusted his three eyes, each one rotating independently as he surveyed the advanced Xenobiology class. Today was going to be educational. The floating platform beside his desk contained what the university catalog euphemistically called a live specimen demonstration. What it actually contained was a creature so terrifying, so utterly nightmarish, that even seasoned researchers required sedatives before handling it. Students, Vector's voice crackled through his translator device. Today we examine the apex predator of Kepler 442b. Behold, the human. 27 alien students shifted nervously in their biopods. Tentacles twitched, scales rippled, and several students' bioluminescent patches flickered in distress. All except one, in the back corner, completely unbothered, sat Marcus Rivera. The human exchange student was casually munching on what appeared to be dried plant matter from a crinkly package. His relaxed posture seemed almost insulting. The specimen before you, Vector continued, gesturing toward the containment unit, represents millions of years of evolutionary nightmare. Note the forward-facing eyes, designed for tracking prey. The exposed calcium structures called teeth, perfectly adapted for tearing flesh. And most terrifyingly, the complete lack of natural armor. A collective shudder ran through the classroom. How did anything survive without proper exoskeletons? Without poison glands? Without even basic camouflage capabilities? Professor, squeaked Zelina, her purple membrane quivering, is it true they hunt in packs called families? Indeed. But more disturbing still. Vector paused for dramatic effect, they form emotional attachments to other species. Then they keep them captive in their dwellings for companionship. The class gasped. Dokran's breathing tubes whistled an alarm. They practice slavery? Oh, it gets worse, Vector's mandibles clicked with dark amusement. They call these captives pets. And they claim to love them while simultaneously controlling their reproduction, diet, and freedom of movement. Marcus looked up from his snack, raising one eyebrow. Seriously? That's your big scary fact about humans? We like dogs? The entire class went silent. Several students' survival instincts kicked in, causing them to partially phase into nearby walls or release defensive pheromones. The human had spoken. Voluntarily. Without being prompted. The audacity was staggering. Ah yes, Vector's voice took on a lecturing tone, observe the specimen's casual disregard for proper protocol. Humans rarely follow established hierarchies, preferring something they call equality. Barbaric, really. Look, Prof, Marcus said, unwrapping another piece of whatever he was eating, if you want to know about humans, maybe ask the actual human in the room instead of reading from some outdated Xenobiology textbook? The suggestion was so reasonable it bordered on insane. Ask the predator about itself? What kind of research methodology was that? Vector's eye stalks twitched. Very well. Human Marcus, enlighten us about your species' hunting strategies. Hunting strategies? Marcus laughed, a sound that made half the class flinch. Dude, I bought lunch from a vending machine. The most dangerous thing I've hunted today was exact change. This was not going according to plan. The human was supposed to be contained, studied, and feared. Not bantering. Perhaps, Vector tried again, you could demonstrate your species' famous persistence hunting? Show us how humans can chase prey for days until it collapses from exhaustion? That's called marathon running, and trust me, nobody's collapsing from exhaustion except me after climbing 2 flights of stairs. Before Vector could respond, an alarm began blaring throughout the facility. Emergency lights bathed everything in harsh red, and automated voices announced, Code 7 breach in Containment Level 5. All personnel evacuate immediately. This is not a drill. The color drained from every student's chromatophores. Code 7 meant something had escaped from the maximum security levels. Something that made their classroom's human specimen look like a harmless herbivore. Through the reinforced windows, they could see other professors and students fleeing in panic. In the distance, an unmistakable sound echoed through the corridors, the hunting cry of a Vorthan Battle-Beast. Oh, fantastic, Vector muttered, his professional composure finally cracking. Just what we needed. A creature that views everything smaller than a starship as a potential chew toy. The class huddled together, their various alien anatomies creating a nervous cluster of terror. All except Marcus, who stood up, stretched, and walked toward the window. Huh, he said thoughtfully, watching the chaos below. Big, scaly, lots of teeth. Looks like a really angry crocodile had a baby with a tank. Neat. Neat? Dokran's voice hit a pitch that shattered 2 nearby specimen jars. That thing could eat our entire class as an appetizer. Marcus shrugged. Yeah, probably. But panicking won't help. Besides, this door looks pretty sturdy. We should be fine if we just stay put and wait for security. His calm assessment of their situation was perhaps more terrifying than the beast prowling the corridors. How could anything be so casual about imminent death? The answer came sooner than expected. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside their classroom, each impact shaking dust from the ceiling. The Vorthan Battle-Beast had found them, and as its massive shadow fell across their door, something unprecedented happened in the advanced Xenobiology classroom. The human specimen smiled. The door exploded inward with a sound like thunder mixed with someone dropping a piano down a cliff. Chunks of reinforced metal scattered across the classroom as the Vorthan Battle-Beast squeezed its massive bulk through the opening. Up close, the creature was even more impressive. 12 feet of pure nightmare, covered in scales that could deflect plasma rounds, with claws designed by evolution's most sadistic engineers. Its 6 eyes swiveled independently, scanning for prey while drool that could dissolve steel dripped from jaws capable of crushing shuttlecraft. The alien students did what any sensible beings would do when confronted with certain death. They screamed, fainted, or attempted to burrow through solid floor panels. Vector heroically dove behind his desk, all 3 eyes squeezed shut in terror. The Battle-Beast's gaze swept the room, cataloging potential meals. Its hunting instincts had been honed over millions of years to identify the weakest prey first. Logically, it should have targeted the trembling mass of alien students cowering in the corner. Instead, it looked directly at Marcus. The human stood perfectly still, hands at his sides, meeting the creature's stare without flinching. For a moment that stretched like taffy, predator and, whatever Marcus was supposed to be, sized each other up. Then something extraordinary happened. The Battle-Beast's aggressive posture shifted. Its massive head tilted slightly, and a sound emerged from its throat. Not a roar. Not a hunting cry. Something almost questioning? Yeah, I know, buddy, Marcus said conversationally. This place is pretty overwhelming, isn't it? The creature took a hesitant step forward. Not stalking. Not charging. Just approaching. Like a lost pet seeking comfort. You're not supposed to be here, are you? Marcus continued, his voice gentle. Someone probably poked you with sticks and bright lights until you got fed up and decided to take a walk. Professor Vector peeked over his desk, mandibles clicking in confusion. This wasn't how apex predator encounters were supposed to work. Where was the violence? The consumption of flesh? The screaming? Well, okay, there was still plenty of screaming from the students, but not the right kind. The Battle-Beast lowered its enormous head until it was level with Marcus. Up close, its 6 eyes revealed something the textbooks had never mentioned. Intelligence. And more surprisingly, anxiety. They've been studying you, haven't they? Marcus reached out slowly, letting the creature catch his scent. Running tests, taking samples, trying to figure out what makes you tick. I get it. They've been doing the same thing to me all semester. One of the Battle-Beast's eyes focused on the cowering students while another kept watch on the doorway. Its body language screamed cornered animal rather than savage predator. Here's what we're going to do, Marcus said, his tone shifting to something more authoritative. Professor Vector, you're going to contact security and tell them to back off. No plasma weapons, no containment fields, no sedatives. Just give us some space. Are you insane? Vector's voice cracked. That thing could tear you apart. Marcus glanced at the professor with mild annoyance. Could, sure. But it won't. Because it's not a thing, it's a scared animal that just wants to go home. Isn't that right, big guy? The Battle-Beast made that questioning sound again, softer this time. Almost like a whimper. You know what the real difference is between humans and everyone else in this room? Marcus asked, gently placing his hand on the creature's snout. The class collectively held their breath, waiting for him to be devoured. We don't automatically assume everything bigger than us wants to eat us. The Battle-Beast closed its eyes and leaned into the touch. A sound rumbled from its chest, deep and rhythmic. Purring. A 12-foot-tall apex predator was purring like a house cat. Sometimes, Marcus continued, scratching behind what might have been the creature's ears, the scariest-looking things are just lonely. Misunderstood. All they need is someone willing to listen instead of running away screaming. Dokran, still pressed against the far wall, managed to squeak out a question. How did you know? Marcus shrugged. Experience. Humans have been domesticating scary things for thousands of years. Wolves, bears, big cats, politicians. You just have to understand what they actually want. Security forces finally arrived, weapons drawn and ready for carnage. What they found instead was Marcus sitting on the floor with the Battle-Beast's massive head in his lap, both of them looking remarkably peaceful. Stand down, Marcus called out before anyone could do something stupid. We're good here. Aren't we, buddy? The Battle-Beast opened one eye, looked at the security team, and made a sound that could only be described as dismissive. As if to say, these amateurs? Please later, after the creature had been safely returned to a more appropriate habitat, with significantly improved living conditions, Professor Vector found himself revising his lecture notes. Perhaps, he muttered to himself, the most terrifying thing about humans isn't their predatory nature. It's their tendency to turn predators into companions. In the back of the classroom, Marcus was already gone, probably off to his next class. But on his desk, he'd left behind a small note, same time next week? P.S. Your apex predator just needed a friend. The professor looked at his carefully prepared curriculum about human savagery and hunting instincts. Then, with all three eyes rolling simultaneously, he deleted the entire semester's worth of material. Some specimens, it seemed, were better at teaching than being taught.